This Bitcoin daily chart move this is a massive move. This is one of the most exciting setups in my like 6 years of creating content on YouTube, tracking Bitcoin price. This is like one of the most exciting daily chart setups that I've tracked. And in this video, I want to explain why. I just recorded this video. I was about to post it and I just realized something. I need to redo this because I don't think I was expressing enough in the recording how massive a move this is. And so please hit the subscribe, hit that like button out there. If you're out there and you're in crypto, everybody, you're on this journey. I appreciate you just being on this journey with me because things are heating up. It's getting exciting and it's just fun. Let's jump in. I'm going to try and do a better job in this video to discuss. And I'll actually start on the daily chart very briefly and talk about one thing. This setup that you see here, this is a rising wedge setup. You see this upper trend line going back to 2022, like August 2022 back here. This is bear market area. We haven't even bottomed out in the bear market yet. That was the bottoming out was the lower trend line setup of this rising wedge, breakout target 70,000. That is so critical, that breakout target in the longer term scheme of things. This has Bitcoin breaking through the bull market doors. Now, before I dig into the daily chart, what's happening right here above this upper trend line and below this massive resistance, before I even dive into that and talk about how big of a situation this is, why this daily consolidation on the daily chart happening with Bitcoin is the most exciting, I think, in over 6 years of content, I want to start briefly on the 6 hour. Not to repeat myself a million times, but you all know I have been tracking the macro Fibonacci 618 resistance. Bull market high to bear market low happens every cycle. The bull market doors, the green area, the 618 area is around $48,000. Bitcoin got rejected very brutally off of that area weeks ago. This is a weekly chart, rejected. And we have not broken since. Now, this is a move that has happened in previous cycles. Back here was 618 rejection down to the downside. You go back to the last cycle before that, as many of you know, rejection of the 618 Fibonacci back to the downside. I've been talking about a very similar thing. I just want to get this out of the way just to set up what we're about to look at on the daily. I've been talking about rejection at the 618 back to the downside to key moving averages. The 20-week moving average right now around 37,000. It's cruising up. It's moving up. And the 50-week moving average around 31,000. So this range down here is actually moving up, $31,000 to $37,000 now, potentially for Bitcoin to consolidate to. I've been talking a lot about that just because it's a common thing. It would be the most commonplace move for Bitcoin. And I just like to anticipate downside, even in bullish trends. I am so bullish on crypto right now, everybody. That's why I've been saying if that move to the downside happens, it is one of, and the warning is, I think it's one of the last opportunities in crypto before the parabolic bull run. Now let's go to the daily chart. Check this out. This is where it's becoming insanely exciting. Put aside for a second the bull market doors and that resistance that is there right now that we are tracking. That alone, from a macro perspective, we wait 4 years for this type of setup. We wait years and we wait a full cycle to start pounding on those doors. That's exciting. Let's just take into account this macro pattern for just a moment. This macro pattern. The setup is a $70,000 target. What's even exciting about this is the very fact we had the breakout back in November, right into December. We cruise up to the upside and we pull back. We throw back to the upper trend line. Anytime we have a macro pattern like this, that alone is exciting to track, right? These macro patterns. Then we have a breakout of the trend line and a very typical throwback to the trend line to retest. That is exciting. Now, Bitcoin has actually seen support on this daily chart at this area. And this is where things become like quadruple exciting for me. The move alone, from a technical analysis perspective, is cool. But the very fact that Bitcoin right now is bouncing between the upper trend line that it broke out of and the macro 618 bull market door resistance, we are bouncing in between that area right now. And it has been for around a month consolidating at this general area, right around $43,000. You go back look, we can go back here, December 11th, like almost 2 months ago, really. Bitcoin right around $43,000, right? So we've been sideways. And it is sideways. And this is why I'm saying over 6 years creating content on this YouTube channel, this is the turning point. This is the massive question we've been asking. Is it different this time? Is Bitcoin going to break the bull market doors prior to the Bitcoin halving? Is it going to happen? The answer is within this daily setup. The answer is within this daily chart. And that is absolutely incredible to me right now. And again, this is waiting 4 years to have this answer or this question answered. And here's the thing. Now we start zooming in, and this is the story we've really been tracking. We can even say we're hours away now of getting even maybe some answers, because I've been talking about potential break to the downside. The 20-day moving average is crossing the 50. We've been talking about this fake out move right here that is happening. The pullback to the moving averages. Right now on the Bitcoin daily chart, Bitcoin currently, and there's around 6 hours left on this chart, but Bitcoin right now is just above the 50-day moving average. I'm very curious to see how this daily candle closes. 50-day moving average around 42,800. The 20-day moving average around 42,200. It's so critical to me because I've talked a lot about how when we have 20-day moving averages crossing below the 50, we get the pullback, kind of a fake out, resistance, lower high, continuing down. Can Bitcoin close above these moving averages? And not only that, can we start getting some separation? I want to point something out on the RSI on Bitcoin right now. You can see Bitcoin's at this lower high on the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator. So right now, it's a really cool move on Bitcoin breaking above the moving averages. I'm being very cautious even still. I want the bullish move to the upside. I want to break the bull market doors sooner than the Bitcoin halving. I want to do this thing. I want to see Bitcoin do this thing that has never done before in previous cycles, breaking those bull market doors prior to the halving. But it is these stepping stones on the shorter term. And right now, there's still 6 hours left of the daily candle. This move that Bitcoin's in right now to the upside, I've seen it. It could fizzle out, and this could end up being a resistance move to the 50-day moving average. We could close a daily candle below the 50-day moving average. It's not far away. It's like a few hundred dollars away from just closing below the 50. And then we're still monitoring resistance at this general area. The resistance area is 42,200 or so to right around 42,800. How does Bitcoin daily candle close? It's one of the most exciting setups because still speculatively, I think I mentioned in another video, as Bitcoin bounces around between the upper trend line here and the 618 resistance, we could have this potential for an ascending triangle for Bitcoin right now. And that is to say, we might be faked out to the upside, to the downside multiple times. 618 being tested again here around 48,000, coming back down. Ascending triangle at this point would be in play in the speculative move that I'm just charting. But this could be the most exciting setups because this is a multi-cycle thing. This starts answering the question, is it different this time, where Bitcoin doesn't retrace as much to the downside as it has previous cycles? Are things like Bitcoin spot ETF in play, driving Bitcoin to act differently? Look, BlackRock and Fidelity now own combined 98,264 Bitcoin, worth $4.1 billion for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. We have around 80 days until the Bitcoin halving. The setup is there for Bitcoin to do something extraordinary, something we haven't seen it do before. But right now, the consolidation that's taking place, all the answers lie within this consolidation. All the answers lie within these pullbacks to Bitcoin moving average resistance areas and what happens even in the hours ahead on the current daily candle. All the answers lie within this upper trend line area of support. Will that continue to hold right around $39,000 or so? And there can be a lot of volatility, and we might not get the confirmations we want for quite some time as Bitcoin just does its thing. So these are some things I'm monitoring, everybody. The charts are incredibly exciting. You have things like ADA testing moving averages on its own daily, Ethereum testing moving averages, AVAX testing in between its moving averages. No clear answers just yet. I'm being cautious, but again, at the end of the day, just exciting charts to watch. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. What do you think is going to happen next? Hit the subscribe, hit the like, turn notifications on. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.